Strizzy kid. Hey Strizzy, you better quit it. All right, y'all, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the cargo van business. Let's talk about the logistic business, transporting in a Sprinter cargo van. What's the cost? How do you get in the game? Just all of it. Things that I was searching for just a few months ago, and now I'm actually in it. Now I'm actually driving, and is it worth it? You know, all of these questions. I'm seeing people online ask these questions about the cargo van industry. They want to learn more about it. They want to get into it. It's a low entry game. You know, you need a few thousand to just jump in it and then get started. However, to maintain, it's gonna take a little more grit. It's gonna take a little more transparency, honesty with yourself to see, hey, is it going to be worth it? Because there's a lot of overhead that comes with this. So we're going to go through it right now and get started. I'm STRIZZY Report. When I document, it is a report for you. So, you know, because I'm doing this business right now, because, you know, it is something, it's a part of my daily life right now. You know, I have a goal. The good thing is, you know, you can set a goal. What's the timeline? For me, this vehicle is a means to an end. However, we want to make sure that vehicle is not a gas guzzler, because, you know, we want to actually get to the end. So I'm going to be honest with you. I've been riding now for coming up on a month out here. So far, my gross has been, I'm just calculating in my head, but give me a second. Probably about 13,000 already in less than a month gross. That's gross though. What we've been putting back in the business is crazy. There was 1 week that totally killed me. I think I grossed 1050, and you know, with all that, the broker fee and all that, it kind of sucked, you know. So everything that I used, I had to just put it right back in the gas, and fuel is a huge part of this business. So let's get right into it. So the overhead, you know, you're gonna need a van, right? That's the most important thing. Are you renting, leasing, financing a van? If you came in this game with a van yourself, I think you're a little ahead of the game. I personally did not have a van. I had to go out and rent one. That is a little more expensive because I got to deal with anything over a certain mileage. I have to deal with the cost of renting every week. I started off with Enterprise. Enterprise was a bit expensive. It was 18 cents a mile over 2,800 miles, let's say, or 3,000 miles. I went over that in like the first 3 days, like boom. So now I'm cautious on what load to take, how far. I got a deadhead. Now I can't really be flexible as I want to be, because I'm already dealing with 18 cents a mile, which, you know, looking around, you're new, you just want to get in the game. You're not really doing the math. The math on that was crazy. So I did end up going with another commercial renter. I'm in with budget right now. That's a penny a mile. So that means if I could go over 48, let's say I go 4,800 miles, that's like $48. So I don't have to be kind of pigeonholed to which routes I'm going to take. If I got a deadhead like 57 miles to go get a load, like it kind of makes an easier decision on that. So, but if you're financing or leasing your own vehicle, leasing, you may have a little bit more flexibility because of the maintenance, you know. So, you know, if you lease a newer vehicle, it may come with a little maintenance warranties and things like that to keep your overhead down on that. But if you're financing or you own the van outright, then you got to deal with the year of the van, because there's a lot of these brokers or a lot of these carriers or whatever that, you know, you got to have you know, nothing less than a 2015 or something, whatever the case may be. But then again, you got to deal with maintenance. You know, if you break down out here with a load, or you're not keeping care for your van, and, you know, you decide to jump in here and then you're out in the wilderness or you're out in the mountains and something happens, and you got to think about freight recovery. Then you got to think about, did you set aside enough money, or is anything open right now to repair your vehicle, or how long will you be down? You know, a day down in this in this industry, in this market right now, if you can't road, if you don't have anything in the back of your van for a day and a half, 2 days, you feel that, so you got to keep moving, and you got to keep moving with something inside your van, or you're really out here just sitting around, and time is money, and money is time in this industry right here. So you don't want to have a situation where you're out of commish for like a week, because that will really set you back in your monthly goals and your overhead and things like that. So insurance, that scares a lot of people. My record is actually squeaky clean. The last 15-20 years, I don't have nothing on my record. So my MVR is clean as a whistle. Even with that, no DUI, no nothing, no DWI, nothing, okay? Not even a ticket, okay? So even with that, my insurance is about $800 and $900 a month, and that's through Progressive Commercial Insurance. I know that Geico just came in the game, and they're providing insurance as well for commercial carriers and cargo van businesses, so you may want to check them out, because it may be comparable or at least a little less than what you're getting quoted. But I know and heard of people getting quoted $1,500 a month, $1,200 a month. So when I saw it started at $840, but I did a lot of COI changes. COI is what is that? COI, I know what it stands for, but it's just I can't get that C right now. Certificate. Okay, certificate of insurance. So, I changed a lot of, now I got to put the rental car on it, now the rental van on it, then I got to put my carrier on there. Now, any changes that you make, especially when you go with an agent, and I went with an agent, they're pretty good on just looking for you, making sure you got the best deal. You could send them an email at any time and just be like, hey, I need this switched over. I need this person put on. I need to add this driver. I need this company put on there. They take care of all of that back end stuff. So you're not on the phone 100 times a day with Progressive waiting on hold. They take care of all of that. So I do have an agent. If you are looking for an agent, I will hook you up with them. In fact, I think I have their card right here. Let me see if I could give them a plug. See if I could give them a quick plug. All right, yeah, I do have it right here. All right, so right here, and I could tell you who to go to directly, and she's been awesome. Her name is Kelly. So Kelly and Rachel are both awesome. So it's CIS. And they take care of you. They've been in the business a long time. I like to deal with people that have been in the business a long time, and they're helping me. All right, so then we got insurance. So that's another thing, because you got to keep $1 million on damage and liability, and then $100K cargo on it. And if you have your MC, your own authority, your motor carrier authority, you have to keep insurance on your vehicle. So regardless if you have any runs or not, any loads or not, come the end of the month, you still have to pay that insurance to keep your MC authority active. That is a requisite. So you want to make sure that you're on the road, you're running, right? And to get that's $300. You go to the FCSMA website, and you start doing that. And in another video, I'll go through that and assist. So then you got to say, are you running with a carrier? You running for yourself? You on the load board yourself, and dealing with the brokers on the loads and bidding yourself, or are you running with a carrier that's doing all of that? Unfortunately, I'm running with a carrier that's doing all of that. A lot of the brokers, when they say aging your MC, aging your authority, a lot of the runs, they expect a minimum of at least a 90-day authority, right? So for me just starting, I need to start and make money immediately. So I ran with a carrier. Then that comes with a percentage that the carrier is going to take out, because they're finding the loads. They're sending you out. They have their own customers. They're putting you on, and they may have their own trucks with their own name on the side of it. And then they give you what they can or whatever, or they're just in the business of giving you, they're on the load boards using their MC authority, and they're giving you and distributing you some loads. So that comes with a fee. That's a higher fee, right? That's a higher fee than you just dealing with the brokers on the boards, on the load board yourself. And I do have a load board I think is awesome. I went through a demo with this company, and it's just for cargo vans. It's not, you're not dealing with that where you're sitting there trying to, hopefully there's a cargo van on it, and it's expensive. That is expensive. So I did find one that's awesome. I went through the demo. They did live bidding. You could put in your zip code, so everybody on the call was putting in their own zip code or putting in those dead spot zip codes to see how well or how much loads is coming up in a week, in a day, in the hour. So I do have the plug on that, and I'll give you the plug. Subscribe and I'll give you the plug. Subscribe and email me, STRIZZY Report at gmail.com, and I will give you the plug. However, if you do that, just be certain that you have your MC, your DOT, and it's kind of aged to a point where you start in the process. Right now, I can't jump on it the way I want to because I'm less than 30 days with my MC, okay? So if you're running for another carrier, contracted under another carrier, you're gonna have to deal with a higher percentage, and that eats away at your gross. And that's something, and quickly, I want to step out of, so I could start really seeing something. But I do have a goal where, I could run this for 3 months and sacrifice, because I have to. It's a means to an end, and the vehicle might be a gas guzzler right now, but I gotta get this thing lean, right? The focus is getting this shit leaned. Fuel, man, that's a killer. So the first vehicle that I rented from Enterprise, it was 11.2 miles per gallon. You know what that is? Shit. It's shit. You're always at the gas station, right? So those are things to look for. How much miles per gallon does your vehicle get? What's the tank size? And then of course, when you enter some areas, like I did in Vegas, and when I was on the strip heading towards Vegas, and in California, the fuel is ridiculous. The fuel is $4.89, $5. So why do I want to stick around in these areas? I can't run California up and down, and Vegas and this west side. The fuel does not make sense for me. Especially with that first vehicle that I had that had 11.2 miles per gallon. That was just shitty. So I ended up, the 14 days that I was out, I ended up spending about $1,700 in fuel. I started in the East Coast, I ended up in the West Coast, and then I ran the South all the way back up the East Coast. So that was $1,700. And, with me making my budget coming back out here, I was like, you know what? Let me make it a little higher, because I didn't know. However, when I got this new vehicle and kind of seeing, it's in kilometers though, and I'm like, what the hell? So I got to do all that, the range and finding out the miles per gallon on this vehicle. It's much better. I'm getting about 15 miles per gallon. The tank size is about 19. You could squeeze probably 20. It usually stops at 19 point something. So it's about a 20-gallon tank. And so I am able to do the math. However, if I stay in the areas with the lower $2.50, $2.65, then it works out, and you could build a budget around that. But you have to kind of understand your route, what you're willing to take, what you're willing to do, and how it aligns with the plan and your overhead costs. The next thing is food, supplies, and lodging. Now, the first 14 days I was out here, I ain't know no better. I stood 2 nights in a hotel, bro. I was already like feeling the weight of the lay of the land on me. Like, I had the car was not comfortable. The van that I was in was not comfortable. It was tight. It had a divider here that you couldn't go in the back. It wasn't open at all. So I had to kind of build my everything in the front. It was tight. I ended up getting edema. I just needed to get out of the goddamn van. It was very uncomfortable. So comfort is another thing. So supplies, you need certain things to stay on the road. And then food. These things have to be in your budget. I kind of went crazy my first 15 days. I knew no better. It's kind of like, okay, I'm out here. I'm happy. Oh, I got to eat. Let me get salad over here. Let me stop over here. Let me get some chicken over there. Like, you got to make sure that these things are aligned, and you could save as much money as you can on the road. So to combat that, this is what I bought, and got some fruits in there. I got some things that'll hold me down. You get a little bit hungry. I learned to only eat once a day. I've been doing that anyway. I just have a coffee in the morning and then a fruit maybe in the afternoon and then a light snack or whatever. And then the next day I probably indulge in some dinner. But now I just did my week one. I added up and got all my receipts in. So this week I actually did $94 in food, and some of that was definitely just buying more fruits and all of that. So it's good. It's a lot better than what I did before. All right, so then you're gonna need a business account. No one's gonna deal with your personal account in this field. You need a business account, right? If you need to know where to get a business account, of course you could do Chase business account and all that. But to get a business account, you need an EIN. Okay, it's a free service on the government's website. Get an EIN. Are you going to turn that EIN to a LLC? If I were you, I would do that. It's not necessary upfront to get that done, but you need to make sure you have an EIN to get a business account. Okay. Then you have to worry about these hot spots and dead zones. Right now, as I speak, I am in a dead zone. There's not a lot of freight coming out. It's Saturday. I've been reaching out to my dispatchers like, yo, listen, this cannot work. Like, I need to run. Furthermore, now you know what not to take, right? So if they say, hey, I need you to take this from California to Montana, it pays great, right? You're like, shit, that pays great. It's only 1,000, let's say 1,100 miles. I'm getting almost $2 a mile. Okay, it pays good. You could see yourself, but when you get to Montana, what is there? It's Friday. How long are you gonna be there before you get there? Is your run ended, or is it better you just go California, Texas, South Carolina, and keep moving? So you start learning what the dead spots are, and for that load board I was telling you about, you could actually pick up loads. We put a lot of dead spot zip codes in there. It was actually good because you're dealing directly with these shippers, and that's what I loved about that app. So I want to get you guys on that. So hit me up again, STRIZZYReport@gmail.com. Another dead spot is Florida. I haven't been there in this route, but I've heard about it. Nothing gets created and nothing is made in Florida, right? So you want to make sure that you're not in a dead spot, and if you're in a dead spot, you have a plan to get the hell up out of there. So the goal is you have to have a serious budget and stay tight with it. I learned a valuable lesson, but you have to stay tight with it. Now, can you survive? Can you be successful in this industry? That all depends on you and how you set up your business and what you will do and what you won't do. But what will happen is that these expenses will run around every month, especially me. I'm renting a vehicle. I can't just be like, oh, you know what? I'm sitting here for 3 days. No, I'm going to have to still pay that at the end of the week. Insurance, I'm still going to have to pay that at the end of the month. I have a network, I have a phone and an iPad with this, with the business. I have to pay that no matter what. They don't care that you didn't get a route, that you didn't get a load, that the load doesn't pay. It's crappy. A lot of people are saying that and I've seen it, some of the stuff the dispatchers try to give me, I push back on them like, absolutely the fuck not. Like, who the fuck is going to run for 50 cents? Not me. Get one of these guys from XPO to do it. I'm not doing it, And another thing you run across is, they'll say that the weight is 296 pounds. You go there, it's fucking 2,000 pounds. Like, these are things I don't play with. If I actually choose some loads depending on the weight, because the weight has an effect on the vehicle and the drag and the amount of weight. More gas, you're going up mountains, more gas, with the terrain, more gas. These are all the things that you gotta put in perspective when you say yes or no. Now, sometimes, like right now, I'm in a dead spot. I've been in a dead spot for a day and a half, right? I'm already trying to figure out how the fuck I'm going to get out of here. If they give me a load that pays less than $1, I will take it to get out of here. So those are the things I got to know that I'm sacrificing because I know I need to get out of here. And there's a gross amount that I need to make a week for the business to survive. The business needs to survive when all the overhead cost is taken care of within the gross revenue. Okay? All the overhead plus needs to be taken care of. But don't forget, pull out taxes, you know? Okay, taxes, savings, these are the 3 allocations that I have. Taxes, savings, and wages. Okay? I may not take a wage, but I pull that bitch out. Taxes, savings, and wages. And it's a percentage, you know? So it's not, oh my God, Stacey, you're making $2,000 a week. It's definitely not that. It's getting this business to provide and pay for itself so that I could then have the business savings and allocate that to something greater. But right now, if you are thinking about joining, you know, that app that I was talking about, let me know, STRIZZY Report at gmail.com. And also, a couple other things, and a side note here is, let me put this down. A lot of people they say that this industry is saturated, and it may or may not be. I don't give a fuck. You know, sometimes I don't like looking at the negatives. But let's take a look at here. This is Reddit. On Reddit, I like Reddit because on Reddit, people actually type out. You have to read. You're not just scrolling and looking at a bunch of videos or a bunch of pictures, you know. You actually have to read. So this young guy lives in Knoxville, and this is what he says, you know. And we'll just read this down and go through it. So he says, I'm 19 years old. I currently live in Knoxville, Tennessee, and really would like to do something on my own. I have a little money saved that I wouldn't mind use it for a business. I love traveling long distances. I have traveled to Florida, Kansas City, Michigan, and never had an issue. I guess my biggest fear is having to finance a van and also the commercial insurance and not being able to cover those bills. Hell yeah, it's scary. I just know one person that has a cargo van business, and they just started a couple weeks ago. Plus, I know some contracts. The schedule is flexible, so I could really use to get the same days off as my family and spend some time with them. Yeah, right, buddy. Yeah, right. I don't know who fooled you. You gotta to spend, like right now. Yo, if you got a goal, right? You ain't spending time with your fams, yo. That's a dead issue. I'm out on the road about 15 days at a time. Oh, man. Look at this. That's a juicy orange right here. Oh, God. That's juicy. I'm out on the road 15 days at a time. There ain't no turning back. Where I'm at, I don't even know where home is, okay? Let's continue reading. So somebody said, I've never been an independent cargo van operator, so I can't say exactly. Okay, we move on. Short answer, no. I was doing research and found out that Saturday, slow day for the industry. There was around 1,600 loads available in dry van, 53-foot in DAT. Again, we don't use that. And then somebody says, yeah. So, you know, people are going to speak about this, and there's going to be a lot of negativity, right, about it, because a lot of people tried and failed, because the overhead is crazy. There's no denying that. The overhead is sickening, especially for a one-man bandman. It is crazy. So the idea here is to have a plan, have a timeline, have the next steps, have the next stages, have a growth plan in place, and stay to that budget. But you got to have a budget. I use Airtable for my entire accounting business part. I use Airtable. I keep everything in there. I upload my receipts in there, my business account. I upload the receipts. So I am very concerned always with the bottom line. I'm very concerned with how much I'm spending. I'm trying to always cut back, figure out creative ways to stay on the road for less, and, you know, fuel cards and percentages, and try to figure out, or discounts, try to figure out how I can make the most and how much I could gross and really apply myself out here. So anything that you do, you apply yourself and you stick to it, and you build that process and that budget and that system around it, I think you could be successful. So don't get stirred away by people that tried this and thought that they was going to get rich in a fucking month, in a year, whatever. It's not going to happen. You got to stick with it, but you also got to have a plan of expansion. So hopefully that helps you out. If you need more information, do not hesitate. Subscribe, please. This is Strizzy when I document a report for you. Peace. Strizzy kid. Hey Strizzy, you better quit it.